So the first thing I usually do is sketch everything out using the grid method. So I usually start by going over the photo in pencil and outlining parts that are hard to see or that I want to make sure that I sketch out, like certain big clumps of fur or something. And then I just go square by square and copy exactly what I see in each square onto the, in this case, illustration board. Here I start working on the nose, and for some reason the nose on this drawing was giving me some trouble. I don't know why, because on the picture it doesn't look like it's a weird shape, but here I was just having trouble. I guess maybe seeing the nostrils, but it just didn't look right. And I kept going back and forth between it and other parts of the drawing. But I guess at this point we'll just have to see if it works itself out once I start coloring it, because in the past that has usually worked. And then finally, we are done sketching. The first thing I usually color on pet portraits are the eyes and the nose. I guess just in case there are stray hairs that cross over in front of the eyes or the nose. But they're also the two hardest and most important parts in my opinion. So I like to just get them out of the way by coloring them in first, and I usually spend a ton of time on them. Now, this is a very important tip. Always start with the white parts of the fur. It's really hard because you can't see what you're doing most of the time, but just start with the pure white parts, and then you can work slowly towards the darker parts. We do this because even the slightest amount of color under a white colored pencil will make it blend into whatever color is down. So if you have even the tiniest bit of blue or black or gray under the white, and then you go to color it white, it will turn into the other color. So you have to be super careful by just putting all that waxy pencil down in the parts that you want to keep super white. So now I'm just putting down more layers of color on the nose and really filling in all the white cracks in the illustration board. Now if you notice, I'm pressing down fairly hard with all the colored pencils in order to really smooth out the texture of the board and to fill in all the cracks. And I also do what is called burnishing, which is when you take usually a lighter colored pencil and really smooth out all the shading and the texture of the paper or the board. Okay, so after I get the eyes and the nose fairly good enough, I moved on to the fur. A lot of times I just start with the hairs and the fur right around the nose and the eyes, but in this particular piece I just went right to the ears. And I start by laying down a color like I do here with the gray, just to fill in a lot of the white space and start blocking out the colors. And then I start layering other tones of the hair colors, such as that cool blue-gray. And then I block in the darkest parts that are almost black. And here I take the pointy side of a compass, or sometimes I even use a needle, and I etch into the illustration board for super white hairs or whiskers to keep them really white and crisp. And then I fill it in with a really sharp white pencil. And then I color back around it right up to the edge. This actually works really, really well. I've used it on countless pieces, so art hacks with Eva, yay! This took weeks, so don't mind me resorting my pencils. again, I'm just blocking in the base colors, and at this point the drawing was almost done, so I was going really fast. But again, you also want to make sure you're not rushing. And now I am starting on the collar, which is really just a bunch of smooth blending. So once you get really good at blending with colored pencils, the collars should be fairly easy because there's no interesting texture to it, at least most colors. There isn't. Also, I have been told that my drawings look extremely messy and very much like a toddler scribbling when I'm not finished yet, which it does. It very much does. And that is why a lot of times I don't want to show people my work in progress. I mean, look at this thing. Gorgeous, isn't it? But it smooths itself out in the end and it turns out great. That's just the power of art.